This episode of Funky and the Champ is brought to you by the Game Time app. The Game Time app has been rocking with us for a very long time, guys. And you know that the Game Time app is the worldwide leader in last-minute ticket purchases. So whether you're going to a concert, going to a show, you want to go to a sporting event, whether it's football, basketball, UFC, football season starting very, very soon. Use the Game Time app to save money. And when you type in my promo code DCTV, you can get $20 off your first purchase. Hey, Ben Askren and I love doing a whole bunch of stuff. And when we do go places, I constantly use the Game Time app. I told you before, I bought Luis a ticket using the Game Time app, and I'm getting Ben a ticket to the UFC Sphere event using the Game Time app. I don't know if I get the 20 off, but you can when you put that DCTV promo code in at the Game Time app. Guys, what time is it? It's game time, baby, and Game Time's been rocking with us for a real long time. Another episode of Funky and the Champ. I'm fat. Jamal's like skinny fat. Right? Like you're skinny fat.
Take it back.
Today I chose violence.
I'm suing. Sue them. I had the mute on for the fight. Sorry, Daniel. I did mute you.
You guys are gonna be lifetime enemies because of the shit you say the moment you get a microphone in your face. Bro, you're crazy. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Funky and the Champ. I'm Daniel Cormier. That's been Askren. What's up, Funky Ben? Hey, man, I'm kind of glad now that we're back on good terms because a couple days ago, shit was messed up, dog. It was messed up, Ben.
You're too funny.
That's not funny, though. You attacked me personally, your own friend. You attacked me in front of other people. If I was your true friend, you would have texted me on the side opposed to putting it in front of 13 other guys who are very judgmental.
Because it wasn't just about you. See, you're feeling guilty, but it was about multiple people. So that's why I had to text it to multiple people. And, I think the mark of a good friend is someone who can tell you, hey, your shit stinks a little bit, clean it up.
Hey, guys, in the comments, tell us if your friend should ruin your day in front of other people or if they should text you directly. In the comments, let us know.
Oh, my gosh.
Should Ben have texted me directly or should Ben have put that in front of people?
Daniel Cormier twisted because it wasn't about just you. It was about multiple people, that was why I had to send it to multiple people. And then you're making it about just you, which it was not.
Okay, guys, before we move on, it was about multiple people, but the fact of the matter was the group, the only person that was guilty of the infraction was me. So, yes, it was about me in front of those people.
Whatever.
He got me. In the comments, guys, let us know.
Oh,
all right, gosh. Ben. So, we got a few topics to discuss today, but I want to start with Kamaru Usman said something positive about Colby Covington. I like Kamaru Usman. He's my guy. I like him a lot. He's a friend of mine. I will preface this before we get into this conversation. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about
a video. Don't say anything too mean about him or nothing.
Well, yes. Please don't be too crazy because I know at times you get a little bit crazy. But Kamaru Usman said this. Kamaru Usman said, I say it all the time, and I know people can't believe the fact that I would actually go, credit to Colby Covington. I used to hear it all the time where people would say, you need a dance partner. You need a great dance partner. In the fight, the first fight, it was so much tension to where it challenged me so much to prepare, to train, and to go out there and just get locked into the zone. It was almost addicting, that zone where I don't care what happens. That's a great rival to have, Usman said. For me, I've always learned very early on that I'm very self-motivated, but I learned very early on that it's a fight against myself. I always wanted to prove myself wrong. In a lot of these fights, it was me shocking myself. Wow, I really was able to do that. I really fought the battle in my mind to do that. So he's essentially saying Colby Covington was a great dance partner for him. But on the other hand, he's saying he fought himself kind of. So while he did credit Colby Covington, he is also saying that Kamaru Usman, was able to elevate himself to these different levels. So it kind of sounds like he doesn't really need Colby Covington.
I will have to say there was a little bit of confusion in that statement. He said a few different things that may or may not have contradicted each other. He definitely complimented Colby, and I think his
Is
compliment
that
is
surprising?
probably I mean, yes, a little bit, but I mean, it's a true. I believe it to be a true statement what he said there. And then I mean, both parts of it, where you need a good dance partner, and then that Colby was a good dance partner for him. I remember I did this show with Front Row Brian, a podcast a while back, and one of the things we did,
Front Row Brian, that's a
Daniel,
name I haven't heard for a long time.
yeah. Well, he has a different personality on Twitter, which I won't disclose. But
Why? Why can't you disclose it?
he
I
got
want to
kicked
know what Front Row Brian's
he
up to
got quick. He
nowadays.
got kicked off Twitter for doxing someone, but it was one of those. It was one of those pedos. A guy who likes childs, and he only linked an article at to which the guy was actually getting arrested. So I don't really
Really?
see anything. Yes, so I don't really see anything wrong with what he did there, um, because it
So
wasn't like
moral of
he
the story
put.
is you still talk to Front Row Brian.
Yeah, of course. So he has a new personality on Twitter. And so we did one show. We did best personalities in mixed martial arts. It was a lot of fun. But one of the things you noticed we did a top 10 was they had almost all have another opponent on the top 10, right? So like
Yes.
Diaz and McGregor, or you and John Jones were both on there, right? So you have to have that guy to bounce off of. Otherwise, you're not going to be out there. And then obviously sometimes it goes like, there's 3 or 4 guys in the same weight class in the same range. You kind of like bounce off each other potentially. So yeah, I agree totally. You need a great dance partner. And I mean, those guys were pitiful and talking trash to each other, but they had a really great fight.
I love what they were. I love what they were to each other. The rivalry, the fights
Yeah.
were always really good too.
Yep.
They were competitive. They were close.
Yes.
At times, obviously, Kamaru Usman was the better fighter
Yep.
on those occasions, and then went on to have one of the best title reigns in UFC welterweight history.
Yes.
I love that if you don't have that guy,
Yeah.
then every fight starts to feel like rinse and repeat. It's like when
For
I was
sure.
done with John Jones at that part of my career, and I was lucky, right? Because I had Rumble twice, I had Jones twice, I
Yeah.
had Stipe 3 times, bro. I had 7 title fights between 3 people.
Yeah.
So I had those types of guys constantly in my career. But when I was able to break away from them, when I fought the Gustafsons and the Volkan Ozdemirs and the
Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewises, it didn't feel the same because
Yeah.
it didn't feel like it had that underlying thing with the fight. It was just a fight. And I believe that you do need that guy and you do train harder. You do do a little more whenever you have that person that motivates you. But I
Yes.
do also believe that being able to motivate yourself within
Yes.
is very important. I think Usman relies on that also. But that's when you have to have that in those other fights. While he was
Yeah.
able to beat the rest of those guys, his best performances were against Colby, against Gilbert Burns. Remember, they had the whole
Yep.
teammate thing going on. It was
Yep.
always that thing that had a little more with it. Did you ever have that? Like, I know you fought Masvidal and you guys had that bad issue, but it
Yeah.
never really, that wasn't
Well,
even a fight, bro.
I
I don't care.
yeah, I
That
looked
wasn't
at
a fight.
yeah.
It wasn't a fight.
I mean, yeah, unfortunately, I made him very popular based on that, which is not good for me. But I mean, obviously, I know what you're trying to do here because I know Daniel, yeah. For me, it was Chris
I'm trying
Pendleton,
to do
right?
what? What am
No,
I
it was
trying to do?
you're trying to get me to bring up Chris Pendleton.
No. I'm not trying to. I'm not
But
trying to
that's I
actually.
mean, for me, that was him, Daniel. That was it for me, right? So my biggest rivalry happened way earlier with Chris Pendleton, and I've been on record multiple times saying that made me a significantly better wrestler because I always felt like I was chasing someone, and if you had taken him out, I kind of whooped everyone else, So it's like,
Yep,
would I have been
exactly.
as motivated because I was kind of killing everyone else? But then there was this one guy for 2 years who I couldn't beat. And I obviously continued to be motivated after that, but take him out, and I think maybe my progress slows a little bit, or maybe I get a little too cocky too early or something like that. So yeah, I think those type of opponents are really important.
You know, Kamaru Usman, dude, it's crazy, right? Because he's one of the greatest welterweights of all time. But at this point, he has now lost 3 fights in a row. But bro, he is on the mind of the champion Belal Muhammad like nothing I've ever seen in my entire life. Are you watching what's
I
happening
actually
here?
kind of think Belal's getting the better of him on the trash talk.
But okay, even though he's getting the better of him,
Yeah.
is Belal Muhammad speaking Kamaru Usman into a title fight? Did you see the video he put up
Well,
today?
I mean, okay,
Did you
so
see the video? Hey,
yeah,
Luis,
it was the
run
one
the
where
video.
Kamaru's in the locker room, lacing up his worn-out gloves, thinking about that golden belt and all his dreams of love.
Ben, look at this video, bro.
So, I mean, one way that someone could look at this, right, is that Usman has a big name. He's a former champion, one of the longest reigning welterweight champions. It's, him, Tyron, and Georges are the three longer reigning welterweight champions. Leon's gonna have to win a few more to get into that category. And so one of the ways that Belal could see it is this is a guy who has a big name, who held the belt for a while, and now he's over the hill, so he could be an easier opponent for me
But
potentially.
is he over the hill? He looked pretty good in the Chimaev fight. I thought he looked good in the Chimaev fight.
But now that I feel like that's a little bit ago. I mean, we find an exact time and date on that.
A year.
That's already a year ago. So once you get over the hill, you get over the hill fast. And so he's 37 or 30. He's a little younger than I am. 37 or 38, I would say. And so maybe potentially he's looking at that fight versus a Shavkat. He's gonna be well known, but he's not. He's not huge yet. Or De La Maddalena is. He's big, but he's not huge yet, right? So,
well, Jack Della's hurt. Jack Della's hurt.
Okay, so he's hurt.
He's recovering. So it would be Shavkat if there was someone young as a contender. But dude, Usman's not washed up. Well, can we preface that you and
I would
Usman
say he's likely over the hill.
Could we please at least admit that you and Kamaru don't have the greatest relationship? Because it's coming off like that. Please, could you say that?
Yeah, I do not like him. That being said, I believe my judgment to be correct in that, we have the stat. We already have the stat. The fighters over the age of 35 at 170 and under are like 2-37. So it's like the facts are on my side as well. So he just fought Leon, and then you have Usman, you have Rakhmonov, you have De La Maddalena, and you have Colby. And so, Belal's been saying Colby's name also and I think he's thinking
he does not like Colby though. He always says Colby sucks, like right away.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, I think he's looking at a big name, and that's what you want to build your name and your legacy as another big name to be across from you. And who knows, maybe Marty still got some gas in the tank, but maybe he doesn't, and maybe that's.
I love his gimmick. I love Belal's new gimmick. I'm honest. I love the new Belal Muhammad. I love his gimmick. He's so disrespectful, bro. He disrespectful in everything. He disrespects Colby. He disrespects Us.
He always hated Colby though. Always.
Huh?
Always hated Colby.
He always hated Colby. Yeah. You guys all hate Colby though.
Because Colby's a douche.
He's not that bad, bro. Colby's not that bad.
Stop it.
No, I'm serious. Colby is not that bad, bro. Like he is not that bad. I don't. Maybe it's because you guys are in this weight class.
Or something.
What?
You guys golf together. You guys are golf buddies, aren't you?
No, I'm just saying. He's not that bad. Maybe it's because you guys are in the same weight, so you guys can't really get onto the Colby Covington thing. But
have of him, it's fine with me. Listen, we are friends. We don't have to agree on everything. I think Colby sucks. You feel free however you want to feel about him.
Why do you think he sucks?
Post in the comments. Who's right? Dan, put a poll up. Does Colby suck or does Colby not suck? Daniel or Ben is right.
A poll. We will make Luis make a graphic. Lou, make a graphic. Get the department to make a graphic. We'll throw it up on Twitter. Who does Colby suck or does he not suck?
Yeah.
And we'll throw it on Twitter to find out what people think about Colby Covington. I don't think he's that bad. Honestly.
I mean, Machado Gary's probably a fighter.
Dude, he's not ready for a title fight, man.
I mean, I'm just looking at the welterweight division of like who can you the De La Maddalena guy, he's really tough, but you're telling me he's hurt. Rakhmonov's really tough. So, Belal is probably thinking, hey, let me get a big name. Let me get someone whose best days are probably past him. And let me see if I can build my reputation here.
I don't know that his best days. I'm going to disagree. I don't know his best days are past him, but it is the biggest name, right? To beat Leon Edwards, then to beat Kamaru Usman back to back would be massive for a guy like Belal Muhammad. So, Ben, last week we talked about Dana White in the cut, right? Yeah. The cut that Merab had, and Dana went off on him, right? And yesterday, Dana was asked about the same cut. He asked about Merab Dvalishvili, and he was asked about all this. But he thinks that Merab is just messing with him, bro. Because Merab was taking out his own stitches, dog. Did you see the video of Merab?
I mean, have you never taken out your own stitches, Daniel?
But no, bro. He was not holding, like, when they take out.
It was some funny thing. You usually use a really small scissors.
Yes.
And tweezers is what you usually
use. Yes. He was taking Merab had these big scissors, and he's just ripping stitches out of, dude's got like weed eaters. It's like things that you use in the garden to like take the stitches out. Do you think when you watch him do that,
is funny.
It just him going, it's not, I told you it wasn't that big a deal?
Yes. I think he's trying to make light of it. I mean, that was my take last week. Today, as of today, when we're taping right now, I think we're 18 days away from the fight still. And so he has 18 days left to heal, and the stitches are already out. Like, I think it's a non-issue. I think Dana overreacted last week. I don't know if it was last week. Whenever the last time
it was talked, last week on the Contender Series.
Yeah. So I think Dana maybe overreacted a little bit to that. And yeah, I think Merab's gonna be fine. And it's gonna be a non-issue. But yes, Merab he's funny for sure.
he is. He is. Like, how though? How in the world do these foreigners, how are they like unintentionally funny? Islam's hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
Khabib was hilarious. Like, this Merab dude, he's so funny, and he doesn't seem to take himself serious.
That's a big part of it right there.
Was that
he doesn't take himself too seriously, and that's you know what? It's refreshing. And that was, I think, one of the reasons I caught on is because I don't take myself too seriously.
Yep.
I let Daniel Cormier pick on me all the time. And because there's too many of these dudes that do take themselves so seriously. And so it's like, not another one of you guys. So
no, they're all like that.
A lot of them are like that. So, a Merab is refreshing.
Why are fighters so sensitive? Dude, it's bad. I mean, it is bad. Like, bro, you know that Joaquin Buckley has still been trying to fight me and pick on me?
He's so mad at you.
Bro, why?
I don't know. Listen, I actually, so Joaquin, if you're listening to this, don't be mad at me too, just because I'm friends with Daniel. But I agree with Daniel. And I like Joaquin Buckley. I think he's a good dude, trains with Nick Simmons. I agree with you.
You better say cut.
I agreed. I agreed with you totally. And this is where, again, don't take yourself too seriously. You're not going to hit 100% of the time, right? Daniel Cormier, maybe you'll have a good drive once in a while, but he shanks some into the woods when he calls. That's what Joaquin Buckley did on that post-fight. He shanked it into the woods, calling out McGregor. It was just ridiculous. Like, I mean, maybe if you're going to do something like that, make one line about him. But don't make the whole thing about him, right? Like, say one line, like, just to get his name in there, and then go off on somebody else. Would have been much better.
You have no idea how mad Joaquin Buckley's going to be.
Well, he needs to stop. He needs to stop. You gave him good advice.
Joaquin Buckley's going to see me in Salt Lake City. He said he looks forward to running into me. He said he's been praying to run into me. So,
well, that's what. Okay, so I mean, that's where you have a large personality, a large following, and so a lot of these fighters, like, they're almost constantly thinking. I think clout chasing is overused, but maybe that's a little bit like they want to think, what type of interactions can I get to make people care? Yes.
Yeah.
That.
So Merab, when he went into the ring initially with Sean O'Malley, he grabbed his jacket.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Why was that enough? Why was that enough? Why was that enough? And why does Joaquin?
What do you mean? That was funny. That was great.
But why? He's fighting Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just something hilarious that he grabbed it, he stole it, and he wore it. No, I don't know. Like, I was laughing. Tell me you weren't laughing at that.
I was, but I was like,
yeah.
It was because it was the red jacket. It was
it was a ridiculous jacket.
You thought that Michael Jackson looking jacket was ridiculous?
I thought that.
I thought it was one of the most stylish things I've seen a person wear with no shirt. O'Malley was wearing that with no shirt.
California too long, bro.
Huh?
You've been living in California too long. Don't forget your roots. You're from Louisiana and then Oklahoma. That shit don't fly around here in the Midwest.
Wait, the Michael Jackson jacket don't fly in the Midwest? Could you imagine Sugar Show showing up in there with a jacket like that with no tattoos and no shirt? Could you imagine he walks in Wisconsin like that? Could you imagine?
Well, it's good for him that he can fight as well as he can, because if he couldn't, he'd be getting bullied all the time. I just told my son, hey, I had a great father-son talk this morning, and because my son's 6 now, and he got some kids were harassing him yesterday, and he tackled one of them in the picture line for school for the year.
So what happened?
And my wife's like, you gotta talk to him. Nah, he didn't really get in trouble. So I said,
that doesn't happen here, right? In the Midwest, the teacher will go, okay, your kid doesn't. Look, my son did one Superman punch. One. Hey, bro, my son does one Superman punch, bro. He wants to be Roman Reigns. The kid was bullying him. He does one Superman punch, and I get a call talking about, we understand how he's growing up in a tough household. I'm like, my household's not tough. I'm the softest parent in the world. But he got in trouble. It wasn't like he got in trouble.
Well, I did. So, okay, I did tell him, I'll give you the talk. I told my son that I said, if you're going to grow up and you're going to be a man, men kind of pick on each other a little bit. If you're friends with Daniel Cormier, maybe more than others. But I said, in order to defend yourself, you have to be able to verbally assault them back or physically assault them back. Now, the problem is you physically assault them in school, you're probably getting in trouble. So maybe you got to wait till after school, or you're at wrestling with them. Man. What?
You are saying this to your 6-year-old son, you're going to create a bully.
No. Listen, I said you can't bully them, but if someone is bullying you, do you know this? You're being funny because you know this for sure. There's only 2 ways to stop someone from picking on you.
Yeah.
You got to fight fire with fire. So you either verbally assault them or physically assault them, and then they know there's a much easier targets. Don't pick on that dude.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, obviously, and this is one of the ones that fighters should probably use more often because of who fighters are. But if it's someone below you, you can obviously just ignore them, right?
Yeah.
You can just, I'm not going to respond to you. You're not worth my time. But as in elementary school, middle school, that tactic doesn't really work all that much.
No, they pick on in middle school, bro. In elementary school, I had it bad.
Really?
So these guys, oh my God, I had it so bad. I don't know. I was a little dirty kid. I had no new clothes.
What are you, a little dirty kid?
I was a little dirty boy. Like because of my skin color, like if dirt gets on my face, it looks like it smears. I was always sweating. Bro, I played at recess until like 8th grade. I'm in 8th grade running on the ground playing like basketball. And everybody's
that's what you're supposed to do when you're a kid.
No, kids started
yes, you are.
Kids started, dude. My middle school, they took us off the playground. They put us in front of the school with no toys.
Why?
We had to just sit on the grass. They wanted to encourage you that when you got to high school, there were no more toys to play with at recess. So
but sports are not a toy.
Bro, everybody just sat on the grass. Everybody just sat on the grass.
What?
Nobody was like,
I have never heard of such a thing.
Bro, I swear to God, in my middle school, they took us off the playground where the basketball hoops were in the monkey bars. They put us in front of the school where it was a big old grass pasture with a whole bunch of chairs. So at lunch, you sat down and you talked to get ready for high school.
What?
I swear to God.
Okay, so high school, there's no recess, but in middle school, like dudes are still, dudes are still in sports in high school, but bro, you go play football at recess or, baseball at recess, whatever.
We couldn't do none. We didn't do none of that. We literally just sat there and talked. It was crazy. But yes, fighters are sensitive. That is one thing that is absolutely true. I don't know.
What do you think about what do you think about my parental advice, Daniel? How do you rate it 1 to 10?
Okay, Ben. So here's the thing.
My wife doesn't watch his show, so
no,
I also had him work. I had him work on his cross. I said you got to hit him with the knuckles, because when they throw punches, sometimes they would stop.
Does your wife watch this?
I know she
even watch this shit.
So I said, listen. I said, don't do it in school. But
my God.
Sometimes you just got to stick in ones because I remember. I said I got picked. I think everyone got picked on, but I got picked on. But I remember one time I just I headlocked this kid and I squeezed so freaking hard, and people stopped picking on me because they didn't want to get headlocked.
That is how I stopped getting bullied. I beat up a really tough guy.
That's it.
It was over. I got double leg only. Once I got double leg on, he's like, whoa, you know what they said to me? No wrestling, no wrestling. They're like, no wrestling. I was like, to hell with that.
This
We're
is a fight.
wrestling. You need to learn to wrestle if you don't want to get your ass taken down and beat up. I became a honey badger. I was scratching him. I was punching him. But I don't encourage my kids to fight.
No,
Today.
we need to fight more. We need to bring fighting back. No bullying.
I love your parenting advice. I don't know that in California, I would encourage my son to wait till after school to fight with the kid. It just doesn't work like that here. It just
I've been inviting you to leave the state of California.
I know you have.
You guys
beautiful, man. The weather's beautiful to play. It's just beautiful. I love California, man. I know.
Okay.
Hey, maybe you don't get to beat people up on the street as much as you do in Wisconsin or Oklahoma or those other places. Maybe I'll trade it. It'll be a good trade-off for me. I'll reserve myself from beating kids at wrestling tournaments. I'll reserve myself from my children beating people up at school to just live in California. I'm sorry, Ben. That's just me. It's my choice. I get to do that. All right, Ben, let's go before you go.
Oh, we're all right. Listen, see, we came on here to talk about MMA, and now we're giving parenting advice. And
it's been awesome. This has been one of my favorite shows so far because now people know who you are. That now those comments with whether or not Ben was right or if I was right because he was bullying me in that group of people, you know who was wrong. It's this guy.
I don't bully people. I don't bully people.
You bullied me in that group message, and we're supposed to be
Daniel,
friends.
you know the reason we became friends?
Why?
Like now this has been we'll say 16 years, 2008 probably.
Yes.
Is because I didn't let you bully me. You go around bullying everyone else, and everyone else was kind of scared to give it back to you.
That's
and
I said, word to you.
Yeah, and I said, listen, you got to verbally assault them back, and I would give it to you back.
At the training center, you constantly picked on me. You had no respect for the fact.
No, I was the only one to stand up to you.
You had no respect for the fact that I was the senior member of the team. You disrespected me from day one. You disrespected.
No, this is why I was the only one who wouldn't roll over for you.
Yeah, it was.
You know the other one you didn't. Hey, we actually have to. We should do a shout out on the show today when you do this, because the only other one you didn't mess with, and I think it was likely because you were scared of him, was Steve Mako. His son just won a 17-year world title.
Can you believe that his son won the Worlds? Oh my God. What I wouldn't do for my son to win the Worlds. I would pay whatever money you could imagine for my son to be a world champion, and he killed everybody.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? 2 years ago, he wasn't very good. He just got good.
Let's see. Yeah.
Little Michael just got so good in a short period of time. Steve's doing it right down there, man. He's training kids out of America Top Team. Great job. Hey, last thing, Ben, before you go. So Joe Rogan was talking about the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight.
Oh, I can't believe. I thought everyone was gonna. I thought that was gonna blow over.
No, it's happening. It's actually happening.
I know.
We're doing a preview on the volume on my channel. I am doing a preview of the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight.
Oh my goodness,
dude. So Joe Rogan is talking about Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Here, I'm Googling it right now.
Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fought in a very competitive bout, even back and forth. And then Roy Jones lost to Anthony Pettis, who was a very good striker, but is much smaller, right? And is probably past his prime. And Jake Paul is probably, he's probably legitimate. 185, he'd be big at 185, so he's probably bigger than that. Anthony was a 55-pounder, right? So we're dealing with much different sized people. I just feel like 58 is, yes, the one thing you probably retain is the power, so it's probably Mike Tyson needs to catch him. But the gas tank and all the other things that go along with it are definitely go downhill, especially when you haven't been doing it very competitively.
But you're 58 years old. Okay, so I just read that article and I was kind of trying to skip around and I butchered the shit out of it. It was terrible. But let me give you just the quote, because again, I'm trying to find this. Come on, Luis, come on, baby, you got to help the boy out. But anyway, he did. Luis said, "This is the quote.
Okay,
58 is 58. No matter what you're taking and what they're doing for you, you're still 58." But 58-year-old Mike Tyson is not 58-year-old Mike Jones that lives down the street. He's a different type of human being. he can still knock your head into another dimension if he can catch you. So again, to that point, he's saying, doesn't matter the age. If Mike catches you, he can knock you out. You know what?
I agree.
The thing about it to me is I understand that, and I get it, and I get what he's saying, and I do agree that the way Mike looks on those pads when he is hitting pads with Rafael Cordero, it looks like there's still something left in there. But then I watched Jake Paul fight Mike Perry, and I watched Jake Paul get pressed to where he starts to feel uncomfortable, and it looked like Mike Perry had a chance. But then Jake has a reserve tank to go to and get and draw from because he's 28 years old. Yeah. And then he comes back and he ultimately finishes Mike Perry. But early in the fight, Mike Perry's getting beat on. Drop, he looks outmanned, he looks outmatched. But then after he starts middle rounds, he starts to work his way back into the fight. Mike Perry is also a young guy. But then as the fight went longer, Jake Paul draws on this reserve.
Yeah.
Finishes Mike Perry. Many believe that in that reserve is a few banned things.
Oh.
But at the end of the day, it allows for Jake to draw from that and put himself on a path to get a victory. That is my concern. Because what if this thing looks like a 58-year-old man fighting a 28-year-old man when Mike can't draw from that reserve tank to stay and compete with this young kid?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's how it's going to go. That it's going to be competitive early, and 58 is old, and he's probably going to get tired. And yeah, I mean, I've said this. I think it's not a win-win because I think I think it's kind of dumb because
I think it's a lose for Jake Paul.
That's how I feel. Yes. Agree.
Because if
everyone
you beat
loves
up
Mike Tyson,
then you're beating up Mike Tyson. Like
and
everybody
you're beating up a
loves
58-year-old. Why do you want to fight a 58-year-old? He's 58. He hasn't been actively competitive in 20 years.
How do you think this came about? What's the conversation look like when a guy goes, I want to fight Mike Tyson?
I mean,
hey, you saw Floyd Mayweather fight
same thing I said is Belal, right? Where it's like, who's the biggest name that I can fight, who I could possibly beat, right?
With the less amount of risk.
The least amount of risk, yes.
Least amount of risk. Hey, Floyd Mayweather fought last weekend. Bro, I had no idea Floyd Mayweather still boxes.
There's something weird about, but he's not. It was like an exhibition. It was like
he fought Gotti
or something. But he's fought him before.
What is going on with this?
I have no idea.
It's so crazy. Like,
that's when we're like, who paid for that? Because to your point, I had no idea. I saw it on Twitter the next day. Like, I had no idea that it was still doing it.
Yes. Mike Tyson actually doesn't really need the money, so it's surprising to me that he's fighting.
Yeah,
it's very surprising to me. That
I think he does like what the Pauls are doing, bringing attention to boxing, and maybe he wants to.
Yeah, you said that.
Push that forward. I think that's probably most likely because I don't think he needs money. I think he's perfectly happy. He's old. Maybe he does. Listen, I told you this. I would wrestle another match or two. Like, I don't want to do a tournament.
But the right person, though.
Although I was giving out a lot of money. Listen, I had a great bike workout yesterday, Danielle. I pushed myself hard. And I said, Iowa wants to write me a check and find me some eligibility. I'm in.
Ben, but let me ask you this, though. Tell me a 60-year-old person in your life and tell me, do you think that they can compete at any level?
I would say there's zero precedence in any combat sport. I mean, have we ever had anyone over 50? What was that one that Bernard Hopkins? Didn't he fight for a really long time? Like,
Bernard
he was like an Iron
Man
for
a long time.
Like a really long time.
What if Mike knocks him out though? Then it's over. Then where does Jake? Everything's
backfires.
Done.
Yeah.
It would be an all-time backfire.
Yeah.
I don't think nothing's ever been done like that in the history of sport if he gets knocked out.
Yeah, let's see. How long did Bernard Hopkins fight for?
Bernard was the man at 40. At 40, he was still like the best.
Yeah. I want to say even later, Daniel.
47,
his
maybe?
Oh my God, his last fight. Now, he did lose his last few, but it looks like, and listen, I know there's a lot of organization boxing, but it looks like he retained his heavyweight title at age 49 and he lost it later that year to Kovalev.
Okay. Oh, he fought Kovalev at
49
years old.
Yes.
Well, Bernard Hopkins is a beast.
Seriously. So crazy.
Brian just said he fought at 51 years old. Bernard Hopkins. So maybe, hey, now I'm starting to believe Mike Tyson might get. No, hey, that's it. I'm starting to believe, Ben. I'm starting to believe now.
I mean, wouldn't we all love to see it? Let's not get our hopes up.
This dude, Ben, is funny.
Listen,
all right,
Santa,
Ben,
Santa may not bring you anything nice, but if he does, it'll be a great surprise.
Just take it and be happy. Take it and be happy. Ben, you're the man, bro. I love doing it. I love doing these.
See you.
All right, guys. Hey, that's been Askren. I'm Daniel Cormier. Thank you guys for tuning in to Funky and the Champ. Until next time, peace.